Well, I tell you, just a very difficult game to digest. I think, if we could have gotten to overtime, we still may be playing. We may be in here doing the post game press conference. There wasn't a whole lot of defense on either side of the field. Again, great job by Tennessee Martin. Their coach, Coach Simpson, does a fine job offensively. They had our number the entire night. Anytime we made an adjustment defensively, they had a quick answer to it. Carr, their quarterback, was near perfect. I don't know that he could have played any better on air, to be honest with you. I mean, every pass he threw was right on the money. Great protection. They had great routes they ran and caught the ball good. So they played extremely well. Offensively for us, again, boy, what can you say? We had a great night offensively, and our special teams was solid once again. But it takes all three phases to win ball games against quality opponents such as UT Martin. Anytime you get beat disappointed is disappointing, but it's, again, disappointing on homecoming. You got a big crowd. You got a bunch of people back. And this week, the off week, comes at a very good time for us, not only to heal up physically, but just mentally get away from the game a little bit, I think is going to do wonders for our psyche. I still believe we have a lot left to play for. We always got something to play for because if you're a competitor, you just go compete. But, you hang around. The odds are against you, but you hang around. Anything can happen. You get 7 wins at the end of the year. We got some good teams left on the schedule. Got a chance to get in the postseason play. But we're really close. And before I ask questions, and this isn't coach speak or making excuses or anything like that, but you hear me every week talk about how close we are. And to me, this game Saturday was a hump game. It was one of those games, game could have gone either way. I told you all week, play a very good team. They beat us by 7. Hey, you could see that happening. We win by 7. You could see that happen. It was going to be very close, but it was a game that for us to say, hey, we've gotten to the upper echelon of the conference, it was one of those games, hey, we needed to win and then continue to keep on pressing forward. But we're very close, and I relayed this to the team last night. We've gotten beaten 8 conference games in the 2+ seasons I'm here. The first season we got beat by 13 by SEMO, ended up winning the championship. First conference game we hadn't settled on a quarterback and didn't have a running back at the time. Mike Harris hadn't started playing yet. 13-point defeat. Last year, 22-point defeat to UT Martin on that Thursday night game that, it wasn't good from the start. The other 6 games we've been beaten in the conference have been by 8 points or less. And the 8-point was to Jacksonville State last year. So one possession in 6 out of 8 conference games has been the difference. And, if you have maybe a better series here or there in all those games, we're the 2-time defending conference champs, and we're in first place right now. So, again, we're close. We got to get over the hump. Don't know how to make us do that. If I did, we'd have done it a long time ago. But we're going to continue to buckle down. We're going to continue to focus on the little things. And if it's like a forest fire. It starts with a spark, and then you can't keep it under control. It's hard to put out. We need that spark to get us over the hump, and we've been diligently searching for that for quite some time. And who knows? Maybe we can find it here in the near future. Any questions?
First of all, just defensively, is it scheme, assignment, personnel? What are the issues as you see it?
Well, Neil, I don't know that you can pinpoint it on one specific thing. If you could, I think we would have had it fixed some time ago. You can also add that offenses are a little better now, than maybe they have been in the past. This conference has a lot of great quarterbacks, a lot of great skill players, unlike some other places I've been, and they get you in space. So that that's one reason. we're not making plays when we're there to make them. We're busting some assignments, so that that goes personnel and scheme. So this week we're gonna. I've gotten a little more involved over there on that side of the ball. Just try to get a new perspective in there somewhat. Not a whole lot, because I go over there and I try to help Mitch as much as I can, even though he really doesn't need my help. And there, I coach a little bit of all the special teams. So we'll see what we can do. Maybe we can simplify a few things even more. Maybe change up the personnel somewhat. We got Jacksonville State coming in. It's not a very good time to be playing bad defense because they got two great running backs. They run a little bit of option. They spread you out. They kind of do it all. So, we got to find a cure, and we got to find one quick.
You talked about the bye week. Obviously, happy to get that. We get some rest mentally, physically, but is it kind of unfortunate to wait 2 weeks to try to get back on the field and win a football game after one like Saturday?
Well, yeah, it does. It's hard to sit here and have a game go like it did the other night. Especially when one side played so good and then the other side didn't play as good, and you got mixed emotions when you come in. You can't get on this group as much, and this group you got to love up and get them playing good again. But no matter the outcome of the game, we needed a break. Just the grind of the season's taking its toll. And, you look at the season, and even at week 5 or 6, you say, well, you're halfway through the season. You're really halfway through the season like week 3, because, you think about it, you got 29 practices that you had before you even play. So nobody ever takes that into account. So we've been at it a long time, and this week's going to be really good for us mentally. We're going to practice. We just watched film Sunday. Of course, Monday's our day off. We're going to get after it good tomorrow. And then we may or may not practice Wednesday, not sure yet, but we'll go for sure on Thursday, and then come back Sunday evening. So the big thing this time of year, this week is they need some time away from the coaches, and the coaches need a little time away to reevaluate where you're at this point of the season, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent.
Is this business as usual for a bye week, or are there any things you're doing differently this week compared to the previous year?
Yeah, it's a little bit different, and each year it's different, just depending on where you're at. Are you beat up mentally? How good you are? At Valdosta, we practiced hard during the off week, and that was just the mentality of that team. And at Southern, we mix it up year to year, and here we've done the same thing. And I think right now, we're in pretty good physical shape. Our spirits were pretty good yesterday for a game like that. But again, we've played some tough games. We've been on the road a good bit. You look at maybe the last two, Tennessee Tech and Austin Peay may have looked easy after the game was over, but every game been a battle. So I think this week we're going to err on the caution of rest as a more of a beatdown session.
Coach, talk to me a little bit about maybe some of the injuries that are affecting the team right now. Who are you looking at this week that may not be ready to go for next week?
Well, it's too early. I can't answer that question. I would suspect that everybody would be ready to go for Jacksonville State.
So is Julian looking okay?
Yeah, he just got a sprained ankle, but he's been nursing that all season. So, but yeah, everybody should be good to go for Jacksonville State. As far as as of right now, next Monday may have a different story for you, but right now I suspect that everybody will go.
Coach, talk to me a little bit about just maybe getting out of the gate, starting the game, and then starting the second half, losing the points battle in the first and third quarter, but then turning it around and doing really well in the second and fourth. Maybe talk to me a little bit about what you think the problem is there coming out of the gate.
Well, I don't see it as a problem. You can those stats and all that stuff. Last 2 weeks we've come out fast. I don't see how you score 59 points. The 747 yards of offense, 8 touchdown passes. You had a receiver catch 14. You had 1 or 13. How many Walter catch? 13 or 14. You had a running back rush for 119. You had another one rush for 90. You only had 12 negative yards. Yeah, we turned it over twice, early in the game, but golly, man, when you play like we play, I mean, you're gonna have a couple mistakes, and we don't dwell on them. Nobody, I think I told Casey when he came over, I want to say the score was probably, may have been 14 to 10, I guess. Was it ever 14 to 10? I think it may have been. I told Casey that he had all the points but but 7. I mean, he had scored all the points in the ball game. But that was just a way to say, hey, man, we wish you hadn't have thrown the pick, but I mean, sometimes that's gonna happen. But as far as the quarters and all that, when you rattle off all that stuff, man, they not a bit.
Can you talk about the special teams unit? I know that was going into the season. You'd said you'd lost a lot of sleep, kind of wondering about some of those positions, and you've got 4 local kids kind of running that operation, which is.
That's one phase that, boy, we have really gotten a lot better in, and I think that bodes well for the future because we just didn't have any depth when we first got here, and we were really strung out all over the place trying to put pieces together, and we got a bunch of young players playing on there, and they have great confidence and great pride in doing that. The average start for their kick returner was the 23-yard line. I think that's on 10 or 11 kickoffs, which is that's pretty good. They had one good one, missed a tackle on the opening one, and Benton had to tackle him out of bounds, or it would have been even better than that. And I think going into the game, he's like one of the top returners in the country. We punted twice the other night, 45-yard average. Mix has been kicking good. Christian Duncan snapping good. Carson Byer. Paducah, Lone Oak is our holder. Jordan Benton, holding the kicking duties down on the kickoffs and the extra points. Man, those teams have really been good, and a lot of it has to do with Duncan and Byer and Benton there have really come of age, and that's made the teams a lot better. In fact, we're right now we're as good as we've been on special teams in quite some time.
And did you think that you would be able to say that halfway through the season, losing Keenan?
Yeah, well, I hope so. I'll tell you this, and Keenan was a great player here, but I know Keenan was glad Jordan Benton was ineligible because Jordan Benton is a fine player, and so but I didn't know how they would do in games. And that's some of the issues we're having on defense. Is at practice we do some things, but when we get in the games, we don't carry it over. And I think we struggle a little bit early with those guys, but they've kind of settled into a routine, and I'm excited about those guys. They go out there and they do what they're supposed to do just about every play.
So post game the other day, I know we had I think two offensive, maybe I guess 3 on our post game show, and then I looked on. Post-game interviews with Brent saying that you don't see the offense throwing the defense under the bus. They seem to really be sticking together as a team.
Yeah, well, but nobody's throwing anybody under the bus. I mean, when I'm up here, I have to answer the questions, and I give you factual information that you can look on that sheet, and it says it pretty much says it all. No, that's not the case. I think our defense, man, they're being coached hard. I say this about the other team. They got good mamas and daddies, and they want to do good too. They just didn't perform very well on Saturday, and it's been the other way around on occasion. Defense played good, offense didn't play good, and so it's a team game. And when one team doesn't perform well, the other team's got to pick them up.
And can you talk just in your 3 years of being here, how much better the conference has gotten? Particularly offensively with all the good quarterbacks who run their system as well. I mean, it's a good football conference.
No, it is, and it's proven to be a conference that has a lot of playmakers, and each week every quarterback is good. We play Jacksonville State; they got 2 good ones. They got 2 of the best in the conference, and then they got 2 running backs that are out of this world. So it's a very difficult conference. Everybody's very similar in talent. And I think, when I said, 6 out of 8 games have come down to a touchdown or less, for us, that tells you that, anything can happen on any given week.
Coach, it was a great day passing for you, and the ball really got spread around. Can you talk a little bit about the play of all your receivers as a receiving core?
Yeah, well, our receivers, all of them been playing well all season. Not as they ain't got as many catches as Walter, but our Z position had 15 catches on the night. Our X position combined, I think they had right around 11 or 12, and then our slots had about 4 or 5 apiece. Our running backs had close to probably about 45% of the touches, whether it be out of the backfield or up the middle. And that's kind of the distribution that you would like coming out of every ball game. Doesn't always work that way. You don't go in the game planning, hey, we're going to get this guy this many. But when we're doing good on offense, that's pretty much how it should play out.
Coach, just talk to me a little bit, talking about our playmakers. You got Casey Brockman and his obvious target in Walter Power. Just talk to me a little bit more about Powell's season and maybe what you expect to see over the next 4 games.
He's had a very special season. I mean, he made some big plays the other night in the game, just like he had done the previous 6 games. I can't say how hard the guy just works extremely hard each and every day, deserves any catch that he gets, does a great job on the special teams for us. And, hopefully he'll continue to have a big season because, if he can continue at this pace, boy, he'll have a season for the ages and very well deserving.
Anything you'll do different, like on a bye week with your coaching staff?
What we normally do, Neil, is we prepare today and Sunday and today and the first part of the week like we would be playing on Saturday. So we get the majority of our stuff out of the way. So we get a couple extra days of practice, and then we'll go recruiting at the end of the week, and then Saturday kind of relax a little bit, and then Sunday get back at it for game week. Get that urgency level back up come Sunday. So pretty typical for a coach's off week. Everybody good?